we as parents like to continuously challenge them constantly at things that they could very easily fail at because it's not going to hurt them. They're not going to break their arm even if they do break their arm, it's not going to end their life to challenge them at things that they can fail. It's going to push them to get outside of that safety net so that they can see and overcome the expectations that they have for themselves, to see what they're actually capable of. No. Ooh, that's better, right, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah. She founded an architectural concrete company.
He founded a $100 million clothing company.
She took the world by storm as a social media star.
He took the world by storm as a famous serial entrepreneur.
Together we started a business.
And had babies.
Now we're figuring out the best ways to do both.
Join us as we learn from other entrepreneurs going through the same life struggles.
As they share their life hacks about success, love, kids,
and everything in between.
If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, become more, you're a leader. Quote by John Quincy Adams. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Quote by Helen Keller.
Welcome to the Pretty and Punk Podcast. My name is Dan Caldwell, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host,
Ildiko Ferenczi.
And we got another great
guys.
podcast for you guys today. And we were talking about what we wanted to speak about. And it wasn't too long ago that we had Daniel speaking up on stage recently in San Diego, California. And we were just talking about how easily he was able to get up there and just speak to people and convey his message, and how he didn't feel, us as adults, or so many adults out there, they talk about getting up on stage, how they'd rather die. And they talk and how terrible. Easily he did it. And we just said, he's so mentally tough. He's so built for what he's going to have to take on as an adult one day. And the thought came up, how do we help our kids become warriors? And not warriors in the sense of like fighters. It's like, I want my kid to be able to defend themselves, but not warriors in that sense of the word. Warriors in the sense of how can they take on the world, that mental toughness that they need so that they can take on the world. But before we jump into that, hey guys, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Pretty and Punk Podcast. And if you are, and you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. It just takes a second. It means so much to us because it really helps the podcast get out there to more listeners like you guys. And if you know anybody it might help and you can send it to them, we really appreciate that too.
We also love and appreciate your reviews. Even the babies look forward to them every day. If you share this episode on social media today, don't forget to tag us. We want to celebrate you because we know it's not easy being a parent in business, and the way that you juggle things makes you a superhero. That's worth a shout out. Together, we have a community of our personal followers as well, and we just want to put it out there. We want to show everybody that this juggle is possible, and you are our family, and we're so proud and grateful to have you a part of this family. So don't forget, all the links are below in the show notes. And thank you again, and let's get back to the show. I love that our children have this warrior mentality, and the friends that we hang out, their children have this warrior mentality. And as Dan was saying, it is not a fighter type of vibe that they have. It's just that they are so strong and convicted in their values and beliefs of who they are already at a young age, to be courageous and never let fear cripple them. And we as parents like to continuously challenge them constantly at things that they could very easily fail at because it's not going to hurt them. They're not going to break their arm, even if they do break their arm, but it's not going to end their life, to challenge them at things that they can fail. It's going to push them to get outside of that safety net so that they can see and overcome the expectations that they have for themselves, to see what they're actually capable of.
Yeah, they need to feel, and guys, we're not perfect at this. Believe me, there are things we check ourselves on. We'll do something, we go, we should have let him just do that because he would have learned something from it. Even though we maybe know he might fail or he might not get the job done the way he wants to get the job done. And, we got to stop, I think, as parents, one of the big things I see us do, we do, but a lot of parents do this, is we got to stop clearing the way for our kids.
Yeah.
Like we want to set the stage up perfect so that they can succeed. And don't get me wrong, kids need wins in their life. They do need wins. But we can't clear the stage all the time. We need to let them do that themselves, making it perfect for them so that they can just breeze through and get it done. They need to be able to go and make that happen.
Yeah, they need to feel.
One of the things I love that we do is what we do with Daniel in the restaurant. When we walk into a restaurant,
and Destiny.
Yeah, and Destiny, both of them. And I just say Daniel because we've been doing it with Daniel for so long, since he could talk.
Well, yeah.
Since she could talk too. Yeah. If they want something at the table, when we go into a restaurant, recently we went to Mastro's in Los Angeles before we went to the BKFC.
They've never asked us to get something for them. They have a voice,
and if
they're very capable.
We tell them this, that you need to go ask. Like there's the waiter right over there. Go ask them.
Right.
If something didn't come to the table, or they want something a different way, or they wanted some more water or whatever, we'll just point them right in the direction of the waiter, or right in the direction that they might need to go. And they'll sometimes be out. We're careful. We're still understanding that they might be out of our sight. But we'll send them that direction, and they're going to walk sometimes pretty far away from us. And I remember Daniel being 3 years old. He walked into where was he that he walked into he just walked right into the kitchen, into the back of the restaurant. In multiple occasions. He's walked right back into the back of the restaurant and went to go find a waiter who could help him find whatever he needed, his ketchup or something.
Yeah.
And that is really, that develops that. I want to say it's mental toughness, but it just develops that muscle of getting what they need. And so it gives them that mental strength to believe that, hey, if I go figure it out for myself, if I go ask or find this person, I'm going to get what I need.
And they're very supportive of children wherever we go. I remember in the Palisades when we went to go have food there, I can't remember what Daniel needed, but of course we tell him and Destiny to go get what they need.
At that Italian restaurant there? Which one was it?
No, I can't remember what it's called, but it's right there beside the movie theater. And the server got Daniel dressed up, and they were taking orders together from other tables.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought that was the greatest thing. He offered to give Daniel his tips from that table, but of course he didn't take it.
He did give him a tip from the table.
Yeah,
he split the tip with him.
Yeah, but he gave it back. But he said, I'll be back. I'm coming back to work tomorrow. And it's just these little things that I feel are maybe divine interventions by God, just to let him get excited about different things and let Destiny get excited by different things, and to have that outside support when they see that your children are going outside of the box, to include them. I feel that is just such a blessing, and I'm so grateful for people like that invest in your children.
What do you think that they like? Why is meant? Because I'm trying to think of the words here. Why do you think this mental toughness or this warrior ability is so important for our children in the future? What is something that why do you think that they will need it? at some point in their life.
Need it. I think they need it now. I think they need it now for several reasons. Once, while they're navigating their way through life, but also when they come into contact with something that they know is not parallel to their beliefs, or they're able to speak up for themselves. They're not just going along with something because someone else is doing it and they're being nice. And I've heard Destiny stand up for herself so many times where there's certain toys she just won't play with because she doesn't feel that it's in alignment with her belief of God, or there's things that
she
they
was in that
won't
class
eat.
yesterday. Remember that class yesterday? She was in a class, an online class, and the teacher brought up a TV show that we don't allow her to watch.
Yeah.
And the teacher said she was an actress, and she said that she had auditioned for this part in this TV show, and she mentioned the TV show, and Destiny said, "That's not a good TV show
for me." That's not a good TV show for me. And it was great because the teacher really respected. She looked at it, she paused for a second and she goes, "Yeah, you're probably right." And I just thought that was so great because you should be able to express what you feel, right? Wrong, indifferent, express what you feel and never feel bad about it. Or if you're in a bad situation, I always encourage them to have that mental strength, because you may be the one to say, maybe you're in an environment, people are talking about something that at a young age you shouldn't be listening to, and the other kids are uncomfortable to say something, and you just say that my children are confident enough to say, "Listen, I don't feel comfortable talking about whatever you guys are talking about," or "I don't feel comfortable with hugging that person or kissing that person." Like, they have the mental strength to just say what they're not comfortable with. I know this is going in a different direction, but your kids have to have that. Whether it's a relative, whether it's a family member, if they just don't feel comfortable with hugging and kissing today, that's okay. Just say it. They're still going to be loved. It's okay.
But I think it's all the same thing, because the kid, I love have you seen that video of that child who's on a bus and the bus driver's driving, and the bus driver, I believe, goes into like cardiac arrest.
Oh yeah, the leader child.
And the one child runs up to the front. He starts trying to wake the guy up, and then when he realizes he's not going to wake up, he starts stepping on the brake and trying to steer the bus, and he literally saves everybody on the bus's life. And I have to reflect back, and I go, would my kids do that? And I'd like to believe that they would. Because Daniel has no problem with stepping into a situation. And you know what the truth is? I might probably not have done that when I was little. That's the truth. When I think back, I think that I was always careful about rules and things that, were surrounding me.
Trouble,
I didn't want to get into trouble.
Don't.
So I wanted to do the right thing because I was always taught to do the right thing. And so I didn't want to step outside of those boundaries. But I think we found a way to cultivate this in Daniel, that there, yes, you need to do the right thing, but you can also step outside the box.
Yeah. Our children are respectful to adults, but at the same time, they have their values and their beliefs where they're able to question. And we really encourage this. If we have a reason for something, our children will ask questions. Well, why can't I do this? Or why shouldn't I do this? They don't just back down because they're afraid to ask a question, but they do ask a lot of questions. And I feel that's where children learn so much, rather than just trusting anyone you're with and going with their lead.
Yeah. How do we get kids to do that more? Because I feel like we're bragging on our kids, but we're
no.
It's important because we see our kids do it, and sometimes we have to self-analyze and go, because it's not something that you're born with. This mental toughness is something that you have to develop in your kids. So what are some of the things that we can do with our kids? And I think one of them, just right off the bat, is letting your kids fail, letting your kids and explore, their own voice, their own conversations. Send them into conversations that might be uncomfortable for them. Force them to go, not push them, but tell them that hey, if you
fostering
want that, go ask
independence and
for
resilience.
It. Exactly, 100%. You have you obviously have the words for those. I'm expressing what I see that works in Daniel, and sometimes I have to be self-reflective. Like, I know we do a lot of different things, and sometimes we're exploring our own parenthood here and trying to figure out how can we make Daniel stronger here or better there. And some of the things, just putting him, holding him to practicing his speeches every day is important. He learns things from that.
And we encourage them to make mistakes, but in our family, we don't really call them that because they're lessons. They're lessons. So whenever what other people would call a mistake, we find those really important because that's where the lesson, that's where the gold is. That's where, I feel like they don't have that, that embarrassment or that shame or that feeling of, oh, I made a mistake. They don't have that. And hopefully, I almost said yet, but I hope they never get that because they understand that there's different ways to do things and sometimes it doesn't work out. But how do we learn from that? Ask your children, which is what we do. We ask them, how do we avoid that thing that we didn't like the outcome of? How do we avoid that next time? What could we do differently? And that's also something that we do when we close the day. What went great? What could have gone better? And I talk about the things that maybe I got a little flustered, and then I explain, well, I was feeling tired and this happened and that happened. And I encourage them to work through their day too. What went really great? Why do you think it went great? What could we have done better?
I think that's
gratitude.
Another thing too, that the second thing I would say is one of the things that I know we do every day is affirmations. I know it's not even on, the conversation that we had earlier before we did the podcast. It's not even, but you bring that up.
The biblical affirmations, and we're not really into but just affirming that they're a child of God,
powerful,
that they are powerful.
I can do anything through God.
Yes,
It's like those things.
We have a
when he
whole
believes
list.
that, because we tell him, sometimes we get off script a little bit. We'll tell them, look, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Yes.
You've decided that you were going to get up on that stage. We asked you if you could get up on that stage. You got up on that stage and made every single one of those people stand up and clap for you and cry for you. And they pushed you and you pushed them. Yeah. You changed people's lives that day. That was through his affirmations. And I think sometimes they're just a footnote in the day, but I really feel like that consistency of those affirmations.
Since he was in my belly,
since he was a little tiny one, that those help him
100%
in this whole building this mental toughness.
Right, and prayer is huge. We pray at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and if there's anything special that they're going through or being challenged with, sometimes Daniel, he'll wake up and he'll have racing thoughts, and he'll ask me, can you pray over me, because I'm getting these thoughts and I know that it is not from God, but can you pray over me? And he loves it when the whole family prays over him, and Destiny too. So I feel like that is such a powerful tool for our family to create that warrior mindset.
I think giving him responsibility too is another one. I mean, we kind of touched on that for a second, but I didn't actually put it on my phone. It's, him having responsibility, him making sure that he has his work done.
Yeah.
Before he's doing anything else. He's been editing videos lately, which is his ability to kind of like work on stuff, and just his self-talk, I think, is important, and how he's building his own identity by working on things, building when he was doing dominoes or when he plays chess. All these little things help him build these abilities within himself, and it gives him confidence. And so I see him, I could see his confidence building, throughout the years, just from playing chess, building, editing videos for us, all these different things that he's doing when he finally is able to make it work, like that last video he just made yesterday where he's flying. He was so excited about it. He goes, "This is my favorite video, I think." But, the fact that he was able to edit that in a way that it worked gave him a lot of confidence. And I think it gives him mental toughness.
Yeah, and
ultimately.
encouraging him to do his own research, to figure out how to figure out these things that he's interested in. I love his ability to do that, and that encourages his sister to do the same thing. And I think very importantly, leading by example, that's a priority. If I don't want my kids, and this is for when they're older, drinking and smoking, well, I had to make the big decision when I had a baby. I used to, have, and this isn't for everybody, but it's a decision that I made for myself. Once I had the babies, then also after having that devastating diagnosis that I just I will fail to own that till forever. It's not mine. But I started learning about the things that I should and shouldn't be doing. And even occasional drinks I learned aren't really that great for me. People ask me why I don't have cellulite, why I look so fit, because I learned all these different things. And I'm not shy to talk about it with my children. They know that I won't be drinking.
I guess
they
that would be
won't catch me
discipline for him,
smoking.
right?
They understand self-discipline, and that's the other thing. I love that today we had the conversation. He said, I feel so bad when I was, I think, 5. I had this, that, and the other. Like, I tried these things. I said, yeah, but that's not something you do all the time. And I don't want to harp on you and say, that's so bad.
He made his decision not to after that.
Right. But once he started learning the things that I was learning, he's starting to lead by example. I will let him try things. I mean, we were in a fancy hotel, and they had like a club level, and they have all kinds of stuff there. And the lady was so sweet. She treated
Where'd
my
she give
kids,
my chocolate or something?
think
what was it? I think it was a chocolate.
I can't, like a Twizzler or something, a Twizzler
like,
and a Kit
like,
Kat.
oh my gosh, we're
and
kicking each other.
I was pinching Dan, and he's pinching me, and it's like, they don't eat those things. What's going to happen? But he had a bite, and he didn't really finish the thing. But she was so kind, the lady, and it was already too late. The kids would run up and hug her, and we were going through. Anyway. She was an angel, and she didn't know, and he didn't know any better, but I did educate him on what is in there. And now with the people that we surround ourselves with, a lot of biohackers, nutritionalists, doctors, and they're learning so much. And I love that at a young age, they're soaking all this stuff up. And I hope that they continue to make the right decisions when they're older. But I feel like if you have this ammo in their toolbox and this knowledge in their toolbox, I hope that when I'm not there, they can not around. I mean, I'm going to always be here, but your children are going to live their own life. So if they see you drinking and smoking and eating really bad, chances are they probably will too. But if you treat your body like the temple that it is, the precious gift that God give you. You have one life. You have one heart. You have one liver. You have one of these things. You have to cherish your whole body and treat it like gold. And they understand that. So if I do that, I hope they do it too. And your mind, your eyes, what you take in. I don't listen to the same music that I used to listen to. I don't watch the same things that I used to. I understand what it can do to me. I don't surround myself with a lot of the same people, environments, and things that I used to. And I made a very conscious decision, especially after having kids, and I'm noticing that I am living my best life. I am happier. Everything is going in a good direction. And if I can give that gift to my children, why wouldn't I?
I think, that all that works together in why this is so important, because we need our kids to one day, they're going to have to make these decisions themselves. And if we don't instill them with this stuff, one, how are they going to be great? You know, are they going to be mediocre? Well, we don't want mediocrity in our family. So we want them to be great. We want them to change the world. We tell them probably just about every day of their life that they're going to change the world. And so they believe they're going to change the world. That's always a part of their affirmations, is that their job for God is to change the world and for the better. And so that's why this stuff is so important for them, that we have to instill this in them. I hate that. I mean, I don't want this. I don't hate it. I don't want this to be the Go Daniel and Destiny show. Like, that's all. We're showing examples of you guys can do exactly what we're doing.
And all our friends have the same, I feel, mindset, and they have same or different results with their children too. We don't allow, I was called a mean mom for not giving my kids McDonald's and junk food, but I'm so glad that it's more viral now that they're exposing what is in these foods. And it was in a time when I was searching and trying to figure out what made me sick, because I was on magazine covers and I was living a little bit of a different red carpet life at the time. And I seemed so healthy. I had an 8-pack and everything seemed so good, but just the little things can add up. And not that I did eat junk food all the time, but there was certain things that I learned now that I wasn't doing right. So no, I'm not the mean. My children are the happiest little children in the world, the happiest little souls. Yes, they don't have a device on them all the time. We've never, ever had a device in a restaurant. They don't watch devices or shows in the car. There's just a lot of things that we just decided to do differently, and it's really working for us and our friends.
I think those are a lot of the things that anybody can do. And guys, by no means are we perfect, okay? So no. I want you to know that we make mistakes with our kids. We'll go back and analyze things. The thing is just that
important. That's important to be able to go back and say, hey, maybe we should have done this differently. Let's start now.
Yes.
Always be open to learn different things. Always have that open mindset to learn new things. Just because someone is doing something differently, don't just hate on it. And I've always learned this growing up. My mom always wanted to be in a room with the smart people that were smarter than her, and I do too. I want to learn as much as I can, and I encourage that from my children. I encourage them to ask questions, and you too.
Yeah, when we're studying for I think that's what one of the big advantages, like if you guys have a podcast or you're building a social media in a good space, in a space where it's pushing you to grow as a person.
Yeah.
You learn stuff as you go. So sometimes, there are things, I can't think of anything right offhand, but we'll be going down a certain path with our kids on it, with something, and then realize that, maybe that wasn't the best for them. Maybe we shouldn't have been doing that with them. Maybe it's better to do this way. And so you can always pivot. We call it riding the ship. You right the ship. You could be doing something one way. Today it's time to change, kids. We're going to do it this way. It's not always easy, because when you're steering the boat, it's going to be the hardest at that point. But once that boat gets going that direction, it's going to be smooth sailing. You guys will, for the most part, you guys will be able to figure it out. So, all these things in our kids, we have to build tomorrow's leaders. We keep saying that, and it's a big part of what we talk about between us, is that it's so important to raise kids a certain way, because the world is changing. I feel like I don't know where we're going exactly, but there's so many things happening,
and a lot
between
of people
AI and wars and all the I don't want that, but just the world, the way
just
the thinking
everybody
of
has
everybody,
their own
things
opinions, and in America and Canada,
and we have to build
now,
strong kids to stand up against this stuff, the evil that's coming into this world.
There's a lot of evil that is disguised as cute, sparkly, fun things, and I'm telling you, Dan and I tried to screen everything, and sometimes our kids will still run into something, and I'm so grateful that they're able to talk about it, and they turn it off right away, and they say, Mommy, I saw this and I don't feel good about it. I don't believe in it. And I just, I'm proud of those moments, because the older they get, we're going to be around them less and less, and they need to be able to speak up for themselves. And again, just stand up for what they truly believe in, their faith, their beliefs, and in who they are. And never let anybody convince you that you're, purple if you're yellow.
Yeah, I mean, let's build tomorrow's warriors. Listen, we're not talking about fighters here. No. Now, not that
but you need to
build
fight
men
for the
tomorrow,
thing,
or women, strong women for, to be able to lead their families.
You need to be able to fight for your family and fight for your beliefs. And also, the communication skills are so important, and that needs to start as a young age. And you need to be able to ask for the things that you need
and want
and
get it. Because if you don't ask, you're not going to get it, right? If you don't ask, you're not going to get it.
Right. And no is not a bad answer, because you can, and the kids know this, we know this, you guys know this. Many of the most successful entrepreneurs have had no door shut in their face. Never let that discourage you. Encourage them at a young age that's just one person's opinion. Keep going.
And teach them a little bit about negotiating, because
I love
my wife is like the best negotiator. I'll walk away from something. I like, oh, we can't do it. Okay. I'm walking, I'm coughing here. I'm walking back to my seat. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Don't say
I'm
that.
walking back to my
Don't say
seat.
that. You're living, and you're strong, and you're powerful.
I just need water.
Yes.
I'm walking back to my seat, and she's negotiating still. And now our kids have picked that up. So teach your kids that, hey, no doesn't always mean no.
Do you remember when they were...
Not with us, not with parents.
Do you remember?
It doesn't always mean no.
I have to just go back to some memories when they were really young, and even now... Somehow, I don't know how, but they'll always get free cute stuff from stores or people at markets. They'll walk
free
away.
Ice cream. When we were at the Palisades, Daniel, every time we'd go, he'd walk up to this ice cream place that we'd won because we liked the ice cream. It was made well. We looked at the ingredients, and so we'd go up to this ice cream place. And we'd be like, oh, Daniel, you can't have any ice cream right now. You don't have any money. So we were like we were giving him an excuse why he couldn't have the ice cream. And we didn't want to say because you didn't eat yet. We got to have dinner first. We just said we don't have any money.
Daniel and Destiny
he would come out with ice creams.
Yeah, they both
because
had
he had
ice
negotiated himself a free ice cream. He was 3 years old.
He just said they thought we were really cute. Oh, this is the last time, though, when he was
and it wasn't one time. It was like multiple times. I don't know how he did it, but anyways. So I know, I'm sorry we're bragging on our kids so much, but we're very proud of what they do.
I don't think it's bragging. I think it's just being able to share the experience. And I want you guys to share your experiences. What is working for you and your family? Please share that. If you have any kind of Instagram Reels or TikToks, or just send it over to us. Right now we're in a phase where we're sharing other people's content. People are sending us stuff, and we're going through it with the kids, and we're sharing it on our page. We're getting over 8 million, and so mostly from people listening to the podcast, but we have a lot of eyes on there. And maybe you guys are, I don't know what it is, whatever, get creative. If your kids are with you at work, whatever it is, whatever you're feeling that works for you, make a reel about it. We'd love to share it. It's a blessing to have this platform that has a lot of eyes right now on our podcast, on our social media, and we'd love to share you. Of course, we'd love to give you your flowers.
If you can, give us a review, share something in the comments, tag us in your Instagrams.
Yes, it means so much to the podcast. It helps us grow, and I could see you guys are doing that, and we're just growing, and we're just grateful for you guys, and the kids are so excited about it too, because we started this journey with it. This is our family business, and when things were so hard for us, this is sharing other people. Right now our producers are focusing on just Dan and I right now, because it's really helping the podcast grow. But the whole idea of the podcast, and we will have our interviews back soon, was interviewing other people that are going through the same mess and hard things that we were going through and winning and sharing that secret recipe.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
there's the
gonna
alarm.
we're gonna start. Yeah, kids have homeschool in a
Yeah,
minute.
as soon as we get
But-
the green light from the producers, then we're good to
Yeah,
go.
we're
We
gonna
can
start,
have
and
our-
we're gonna come back with a vengeance as far as
Yeah,
interviews
that'd be
goes.
so
We had
good.
some great people on there when we were interviewing people. But and as soon as we bring that back, we're gonna bring back some of the best. So look forward to that. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. God bless you.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the Pretty and Punk podcast. Make sure to subscribe. Love you. God bless. Thank you for listening to the Pretty and Punk podcast. God bless. See you next week, Warriors.
Please. You can't.
Optimism is the faith.
Destiny, we can't hear you down there. You have to be at the mic.
Come on.
The black
Oh my gosh.
Come on, sweetie.
Please sit on the chair.
Oh, no, don't mix those up. Those are not his papers.
Oh my gosh, please sit on the chair,
Come
please.
on, Daddy's having he's going to have a...
Yeah, you almost knocked the mic table down already.
Oh, no more. Just sit there.
Sit.
I'm going to make your hair pretty so you can see your Bambi eyes, your big, beautiful. Optimism. Stop. Optimism is the faith. Come on. Loud and proud. Sit up like a queen. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement.
Optimism.
Hold on.
No, not like that.
Tell me.
Powerful.
Like Wonder
No,
No.
that's not powerful.
Hey, let's show. Hey,
Come on.
Hey, let's show the world how good you are. Like, okay?
Come on, let's change somebody's life.
Let's change someone's life, okay? Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement.
Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement.
Quote by Helen Keller.
Quote by Helen Keller.
Do you think it was this
That
or
was
this?
awesome.
That
Awesome.
was so
Great
good.
job. Great work.
Would you have done it better, or is that perfect?
Let's do an outro.
Oh
Okay?
yeah,
Here
let's
we go.
do a good